Okay, we're back here with a very cool advertisement in the 67 Motor Trend for the Rebel. For those of you who don't remember, that was AMC's car. Pretty hot little car. 343 4-barrel Typhoon V8. Let's see, they mentioned 280 horsepower, 4-speed stick. That's a pretty cool car there. And it's a shame you go to these car shows and there's just no AMCs or anything different. You see all the Chevelles and Camaros. It gets pretty boring. Good to see something different. Here's another, speaking of Camaros, here's a pretty cool advertisement that's entitled Smile When You Call It Detroit Iron. And this is Camaro by Chevrolet. They're showing you the Camaro SS350 convertible with Rally Sport equipment. That's a cool looking car. That really is. It's kind of what the newer Camaros are trying to portray again with their retro styling. Wow, cool car. Here's an article I kind of skipped over here, but this is an article on car thieves back in the 60s, and I just wanted to read this box. This is a pretty interesting part of it. It says facts and figures on car thefts. 92% of all stolen cars are recovered, but this often means that they are only the shell of the car. Only 8% of all stolen motorcycles are recovered. They're usually disassembled and sold as parts. 80% of all car thieves are arrested under age 21. That's interesting. Of all cars stolen, 1% are resold, 8% are stripped, 5% are used in committing other crimes, and 80% are used for joyriding. 486,600 cars are stolen annually in the U.S. That's from 1965. This amounts to $501 million worth. Wow. Insurance companies pay out $133.3 million annually in stolen car claims. That's incredible. Those are just some interesting statistics, and I'm sure those have gone way up now, but kind of some neat statistics back in the day. Here they talk about some simple do-it-yourself alarm systems to protect your car from auto thieves. So that's kind of cool. Like an ignition cutout, a horn warning circuit. That's pretty neat. Pretty cool stuff. So they did have anti-theft devices back in the 60s. Here's another neat article here about the Rebel, or American Motors Rebel SST, or the Ambassador. It's pretty cool. Like I said, the AMC cars are pretty cool. I especially like the Javelin or the AMX, but nevertheless, look at some of the interesting interiors from the day. Those are just pretty cool looking. With a full down front seat. Take a nap there if you want. Boy, that's cool. There's a gauge cluster. Show you what AMC looked like back then. Pretty cool styling though. Back in the day. I don't know much about the AMCs, but they're definitely neat cars. And a little piece of relevant history, I believe Mitt Romney's dad, George Romney, was president of AMC. I can't remember when. I think it was somewhere in the 50s. But anyways, that's pretty interesting. Here, like I said, here's the they show you the SST Rebel versus the Standard, 67 versus 66, and they just show you how they increased the glass area. It's got a 4-barrel carb, 343 cubic inch. It's kind of neat. And we'll give you the specifications, like I said, which I think is the most interesting part from back in the day. Let's see. So the SST versus the DPL. Now the DPL, I didn't mention this, is what they call the Ambassador. So the Ambassador DPL or the Rebel SST, just so you're aware. Anyways, the SST ran 0 to 60 in 9 seconds flat, DPL 9.9 seconds. Quarter mile time, 16.9 at 83 miles an hour for the SST, 17.4 at 82 miles an hour for the DPL Ambassador. Stopping distances, SST from 30 miles an hour, 29.5 feet, from 60, 142, and the DPL from 30 miles an hour, 37 feet, and from 60, 164. Both cars apparently have the same motor. That's a 343. Made 280 horsepower, 360 pound-feet of torque, 10.2 to 1 compression with a single 4-barrel carburetor. That was a Carter carb on there. Let's see, they both had automatic transmission. Final drive for the SST is 287 to 1, DPL 315 to 1. Pretty interesting. Let's see, fuel capacity 21.5 gallons. Dimensions, the wheelbase on the SST 114, DPL 118. The track on both cars is 58.5 in the front and 58.5 in the back. Overall length 197, width 78 inches, height 53.49, length 202. And let's see, actually the SST length was 197, whereas the DPL was 202, so the Ambassador was a longer car. Let's see, curb weight, SST 3740, DPL 3920. Prices, this of course is an interesting section. Base price of the SST was $2,710, where the base price of the Ambassador was $2,958. And then I'm not going to break down the options on here, except for the engine, which to upgrade to the 343 was $90 on both cars. Pretty interesting there. So those are just some pretty cool cars from AMC. Here's a neat article. Talks about, can studs unchain winter drivers, and that's neat. It goes into studded tires and whatnot. And I don't know if any of you've ever driven with studded tires. I've never used them personally. I've used winter tires on my Corsica and noticed a difference. But basically, they give you a chart here that shows you which states either approve or prohibit the use of studded tires. I believe in Ohio you can use them. I can't remember the month, for like half the year you can run them. But like I said, I've never really tried them. And it gives you some of the statistics. Pretty neat. Pretty interesting article here. And once again, here's Charles Atlas again. I always get a kick out of that when I see him. And then Carroll Shelby, this is interesting, is advertising for a real man's deodorant called Pit Stop. I've never heard of that. Pretty neat. Here's the Keystone Mags. It's pretty popular on a Camaro there. What else do we have here? Some more advertisements here. There's a neat question and answer. A guy writes in, I have a 66 GTO with a tri-power and a 2-speed auto that just doesn't get the job done. Can I go to a 3-speed turbo hydromatic? And they say, yep, it bolts right in. So that would definitely be a great improvement. Good old 2-speed. Pretty old school right there. What else do we have in here? I am an owner of a 64 Falcon with a 144 cubic inch 6-cylinder engine and standard transmission, a combination which I find leaves the automobile rather underpowered at turnpike speeds and on hills. Can I install a 200 cubic inch Mustang 6 with a Synchro Smooth 3-speed transmission? What would be the approximate cost? External dimensions of the two engines are the same, and the bigger 6 will drop right into place. The price depends entirely on whether new or used, so it can run anywhere from $100 to $600. So that's kind of some neat things there. I'm sure the Falcon with the 144 cubic inch motor would be quite anemic, especially compared to today's standards. And granted, this is 67 and the guy's complaining about it, so yeah, that would probably be a slow vehicle. This is neat. In a recent issue, you had a story on used overhead valve V8 engines, and there you said the 348 Chevy was a good subject for hop-up. I would like to rebuild one. One of my friends says they are pigs because they have a long stroke. Where can I get some good ideas on how to make a 348 go? A pig should be so lucky. This is a good engine to work on, but you can get the full story in the Chevy Performance Handbook, $2 from Peterson Publishing, at your friendly news store. 348 Chevy, that's cool. Here's a neat article on a 65 Galaxy. It says, I own a 65 Galaxy with overdrive and limited slip diff. Therein lies my problem. Rear seems abnormally high as the original equipment tires were gone at 10,000 miles, and a set of top-line snow tires have very little tread after 8,000 miles. I'm told that this is a result of the limited slip, which tends to reduce the normal differential effect on highway curves. True. Is there a significant difference between limited slip differentials offered by the Big Three? I hate to be a nag, but it seems the high tire wear may be directly related to your right foot. A limited slip differential is designed to operate normally during average driving, so that rules out the typical highway curve unless you're hanging it in there too tight. There isn't any difference between limited slip diffs. That's interesting. Interesting article. And what else do we have here to finish up the magazine here? There's one of those Jensen FFs. That's kind of a neat car. Some of the crazy packages that you could get on the cars. I don't know, Mod Squad, I'm not sure what you want to call that styling. Pretty crazy looking. Auto art, I guess you call it. Some of the cars for sale always are pretty interesting. Here's a 48 Packard. Wow, $1,200. That's beautiful. Just some of the cool cars they had for sale back here. But I think that pretty much finishes up this article. We'll go back, and there's a article or an advertisement about Alcoa aluminum for their aluminum products. That's pretty cool. And then on the back we have, of course, the seems to be standard here on the motor trims from the 60s, the Ford Electronics advertisements here. But anyways, we'll go back and do the other two. And once again, thank you guys for watching.